Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a full read for you today regarding our journey. It's really geared towards everyone watching today, and there's some really cool stuff that came through here today. I think King Tut actually wants to come through. I don't know if he will, but he was only 18 years old and that came up in the read as well, so it'd be kind of cool if he did. I'm going to get right into it. I believe it is also today Quasimodo Sunday, the second Sunday of Easter. And it is the 28th of April today, 28 being the Two of Wands, or the two flames, the twins, and then the day adds up to 44-8, which is the Four of Cups. It's the grounding and integrating, the mastering, the time that you use when you're bored. It's to ground and integrate. GI, just like your intestines take care of your food and transmute your food going through your body. So, as I start to do the read today, and the 44, of course, is an 8 of strength, inner strength, outer strength, staying at 0 point in the flow, and big manifestation. The 44, it's also the 28 of the 1, which is masculine energy, that masculine drive, focused, blinders on, more selfish-oriented energy of the 28. It's also about choosing a path. So, as we started the read, as I put down, and the Hierophant came up more than one time in the read, because I'm using several decks. Sorry, I haven't worn this shirt in a long time, it's a little bit loose. When I put the Hierophant down, the Clarifier Hierophant, because the Hierophant did come up as one of the main cards in the Sirian Starseed deck, when it came up as the Clarifier, I was getting the Pope right away, so the Pope came up in here. And also when I placed the King of Pentacles as a Clarifier to the King of Cups, Master of the House also came in again, because that came in yesterday, and that was at 10:04, which is 10:4, message received. Okay. Also, a little anxiety came up when I was clarifying how you all see yourselves, and that came up today as the Page of Pentacles, which is really about recognizing your psychic abilities and allowing yourself to be the student again. Some anxiety came up with that, and there was some resistance in the cards, and so there may be some resistance there with the energy as well. So the read today, and again, this isn't specific to a divine masculine or divine feminine, it's to everyone here. Okay, so even if you're my viewers are all usually twins, or at least soulmates, those kind of viewers. So it's open to everyone watching, and let's just see what comes up here. It was done at 10:07 today, and I call it, instead of abbreviating it for divine masculine, divine feminine, it's GL for God's love. And I definitely connect with God for the best and highest messages for everyone watching today. So let's see what it brings today. The major arcana were the Hermit, which is reflection in this deck, actually, the Sirian Starseed deck. Karma, which is the Judgment card, and Guidance, which is the Hierophant. The card before the read, before the underlying energy, was Reflection, which is the Hermit. So that was their, I'm sorry, it wasn't Reflection. It was the Hangman. Yeah, it was the Hangman. The Hermit is Reflection, but the Hangman was also there in the underlying energy. So I'll show you just to begin with the underlying energy. So this is the underlying energy of the Four of Chalices, like the Four of Cups, and then the Hanging Man here, like the Hanged Man. Okay? And this is the Sirian Starseed deck. So there were 3 cups, 1 wand, 2 swords, and 2 pentacles. The court cards were the King of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, and that was it for the court cards. So a king, a knight, and a page. The numbers and the messages around the coding here were all about synchronicity, nature, and love. And the numbers here, 777 came up. So that rarely happens in the reads, that 3 numbers come up alike. So 4, 7, and 5 came up, as well as 16 for the Tower, 777, 45 of the Five of Cups, 57 of the Three of Swords, 10 of the Destiny card, and then 3122, which is that 5 of Wands and the Fool. So expansion and the Fool, staying open-hearted through all of that. Tuck this in so it doesn't keep moving. Okay. So the coding here about synchronicity, nature, and love was all about, well, the challenge always comes up in the code line, and the challenge today was definitely reflection, the Hermit. Okay, so that's actually the challenge, where it's usually not in the challenge position. So let's see how that comes up. It's about hanging for student of the divine feminine within the masculine. So we're all students of this, but it's focused on the divine feminine, reflecting and mixing it up a bit. So don't go back to the same old, you know, mix it up a bit, change. When it comes to synchronicities, nature, and love. Also hang Emperor, student, in a bold move to the divine feminine, reflecting the energies of Taurus and the sweet nature of Taurus, because we're in Taurus now in a couple planets, and currently the sun is in Taurus, so that energy is coming up here as well. So the Emperor, or the masculine energy, may be just hanging out right now to see those different perspectives, but also could be in student mode, or hanging out to see a new perspective on going back to being a student, maybe not liking being called a student, because that means now someone else is telling him what to do, but now in a bold move to the divine feminine, in reflecting his Taurus energy, his sweet side. Okay? Taurus is coming up as sweet. Sweet love, sweet synchronicity, sweet nature. So also could be, you know, hang for a bit. Just give it 4 minutes or so. It's not like hang 5 or hang 10. It's hang 4. Also could have to do with Aries. Hang, like an Aries needs to be hung out to dry. A student is the Cancer. A divine feminine is the Virgo or Hermit energy. And then the Taurus energy is here to stir things up or sweeten the pot. Hang and wait for less than 5. Student of Twins receives divine feminine reflection in order to expand. All right? Or commit to your synchronicities. Commit to guidance. Commit to nature. Commit to guidance. Commit to love. Commit to your guidance. Hang for students of the divine feminine twins in order to reflect and expand. So sometimes you don't always give people what they want. You give what you're authentic to. Like, what do you want to give at that time? And if it triggers the other person, so be it. So maybe 4 students who may be watching and learning will get triggered today, but to learn that that's okay, because that teaches you to reflect and then expand more, to go within and then go without, to mix it up, contract and expand, contract, expand. Okay, that's how it works here. That's how we do it. Okay, so the energies from the numbers came up. Emperor, Chariot, and your Chariot await's been coming up all week. But the Emperor, Chariot, and the Hierophant, so it could have to do with marriage or just any kind of commitments, or it could be a religious person, or it could just be the Taurus energy that we're in right now. But the Tower comes up as well, so epiphanies or sudden events. The 5 of Cups, of letting go of your sorrow, your grief. 3 of Swords, again, letting go of feeling separation and knowing that you're healing, forgiving. The 3 Wise Men, don't forget that's a great representation of the 3 of Swords, because it's a very positive way of looking at it. Also, the Wheel of Fortune, the Destiny card came up, and with 777 I automatically got slot machines, so someone may be at the casino. And then the 31 and 22 of the 5 of Wands and Fool. Right? The Fool is ever expanding because their heart is always open. So as we get here into the read, we look to the stars in these 2 cards. We look to the stars for guidance. It's not about wishing upon a star. All right? You don't want to wish. You don't want to, you're going into something then you don't have, and then that puts you in a lack. It's about looking to the scars are coming up too, so the scars, because that's what we're healing is our scars. But look to the stars for guidance when you feel your emotions taking over. Ground and integrate the masters that you are already. The King of Cups and Queen of Cups were placed as clarifiers on that card, both upright and facing each other, which rarely happens. The King of Cups and Queen of Cups, you have come so far, despite the injustices of the hangman or the hanging man, in fear of being their true self, looking for another perspective until the consensus between logical mind and higher self, heart. The King of Cups and the Queen of Cups sit together today, facing each other in perfect balance. Oh, excuse me, one sec. Sorry about that. I had to answer the door. It was my daughter's friend coming by to say hi. So going back to where we were, the King of Cups and Queen of Cups sit together today, facing each other in perfect balance without justice around them. So feeling the injustice around them, but being okay with it. Masters of love, humble servants of the collective consciousness. The King of Pentacles, Capricorn, is bleeding out from his shadow side. Horny devil is coming up with bat wings, a mark on his head, and mark came up 3 days in a row now. Yesterday it was on your mark, get set go, and before it was about a trademark mark type energy was coming up. But a mark on his head and chained by the neck and hands are tied. Reconciling the good man and his shadow, as the King of Wands looks in on the Empress. Ice cream or sherbet and nuts or melon balls, perhaps mango, and angel patiently taking one stone at a time. So instead of one step at a time, it was coming up one stone. So that was significant today. So as we turn the page, it was 10:41 when I turned the page, but then I went back again and back again. It was 10:44. And so we have 41 of the Ace of Cups and 44 of the mastering energy. So after I wrote down one stone at a time, it came in, almost had me roped and tied. So Elton John, right? Am I thinking of the right song? Almost had me roped and tied. Sweet freedom whispered in my ear, you're a butterfly and butterflies are free to fly, fly away, bye-bye. So that came up there. The King of Wands, Archangel, looking in on pink to purple and green hearts, reflections of pink to purple, high heart to crown, but green emerald stays constant, like the Divine Masculine, whereas the Divine Feminine is the variations of pink, because she has more variations to her personality. The masculine energy is more focused. So then Constantine came up, which was weird because it had nothing to do with my father, but my father's first name is Constantine. And then the movie Constantine came up, and Gabriel, very feminine male, strong yet soft, with boundaries, yet so compassionate. The King of Wands is coming up here as Metatron, and I tell you that all the time. For me, a lot of times in the read, when that King of Wands comes up, and he's like looking sideways, like intently at the whatever card it's looking at. For me, it often represents Metatron watching over the masculines. And here it was coming up very specifically, an important message. King of Wands, Metatron, and Michael coming in here, calling all angels. Watch all your angel movies at the same time and see what it does for Quasimodo Day today. Okay, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So for some reason I was guided to just look that up real quick, and I made a list of all of the Archangel movies that came up, and it was guiding us to see if we all watch these movies at the same time, see what a difference you can make, or see what kind of difference you do make, whether it's for the good or for the bad or indifferent or nothing. So the movies that came up were Michael, of course, 1996, Constantine, which is one of the more dark ones. So we're looking at the more positive ones, but Constantine came up first, so that was important. Archangel is the title of one of the movies. That's 2005. Heaven Can Wait. Made in Heaven. If you haven't seen Made in Heaven, you have to. It's such a twin movie, and it's one of my favorite of all time. Even though it's maybe not be the best movie in the world, but for me, I guess because I was a twin, it always resonated with me so much. So you might want to check that out. That was 1987. Wings of Desire, Chances Are, that was 1989. Always, Clarence, Almost an Angel. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, that was 1991. Far Away, So Close. Heart and Souls, Angels in the Outfield, Unlikely Angel, Angels in the End Zone, A Life Less Ordinary, City of Angels, and if you haven't seen that, that's amazing too. What Dreams May Come, Dogma was 1999, and then I was getting the 11th Hour, Dogma. Angels in the Infield was 2000, Little Nicky 2000, Down to Earth 2001, Gabriel 2007, Pokemon, Giratina and the Sky Warrior 2008, so I don't know anything about Pokemon, but, and then Legion 2010, Fallen 2016, and then, which wasn't on the list, and it may not be on the list because it's not really archangel-y, but Oh God was also on my mind, so that was something else that had to come up here, because if you haven't seen Oh God, you have to see that with George Burns. He's like the cutest little man ever, and it's 1977. And then The Shack too. If you haven't seen The Shack, you have to see that. And Interview with God came up as well. So from angeltherapy.net, I was then guided to go online about Metatron, because I've really never researched Metatron much, or much about the archangels. I have done a little bit, but Metatron doesn't come up with the typical 7 archangels. So I kind of wanted to know more about it, because everything I know about Metatron is only the connection I felt and what I've seen in the cards in reference to Metatron for me. So I was guided to this first site, angeltherapy.net, and Metatron, it says, I am that I am, the soul of Elohim, the will of the Creator, the vein, the capillary that connects us to the Creator, the Alpha to Omega, the one. Oh, it was a bird singing really loud. The Alpha Omega, the one conscious connection to Creator, associated with 1111, 111, sacred geometry, the Herkimer diamond, and selenite. And then as I go back to cards, I was holding these cards. These 3 cards is why I ended up going into Metatron, because the King of Wands in this deck here, for me, is often Metatron. So this is what I was looking at. Alright, so here's Metatron, Angel, and this is the Empress with the heart there, Divine Feminine. Okay, so keep this in mind while you're listening to what I'm saying. So as I come up from looking this up, I'm still holding these 3 cards in my hand as I'm looking this up. So it's said in, like, there's no real ranking, but that that Metatron is separate from the other archangels because he's the only one with the direct connect to God. So then I look down at these cards, and I have Metatron, angels, and the Empress down here with the heart displayed for all, which is the Divine Feminine. So then I went on another site. It was called Kaaron. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, and you may think I'm stupid if I don't know what it is, but CAEAYARON.com. So this site was about someone who channels Metatron, and it said there was like this sales pitch line, which made me suspicious right away, because it said secrets Thoth and Yahweh didn't want you to know. Alright, so that's something to pull you in. So this was, going into the site was something Metatron wanted me to do to practice my own knowing, my instincts about things. Because when I first went through reading it, and it was hear what I say, but don't take my word for the last word. If you want to go check it out, you go into that site and see how it feels to you. And I didn't feel anything like that bad about it, but I wasn't resonating with everything that it said. And it was by Metatron. It was supposed to be Susanna Maria Emanuel channeling Metatron. Activated away from karma within Thoth's dense Metatron grid geometry mirrors and into healing grid of this Caeyaron, not Cryon, Chiron, I guess, to move from Metatron grid to this grid, to grow in love and greatness, greater love and harmony of the collective consciousness, manifesting synergy and synchronicities more. So getting away from even more dark energies, away from the darkness of Thoth and Yahweh. And there was something there, and some of it could be true, and it could just be the perspective of the way she was saying this, but it just bothered me because I connect with Thoth, and the only reason I know Thoth is because I've connected with him, and I've never connected with anything dark about Thoth. It's only very pure, light, funny energy. So it just bothered me a little bit. So I'm kind of curious as to what you guys feel when you go on there. So again, it's that CAEAYARON.com. So just let me know what you think. It doesn't really matter to me either way. I don't hold anything negative about this person. I just didn't resonate with everything it was saying. But it was Metatron was making me go on these different sites to practice my own discernment. Because the first site I went on was like nothing, but when I went to the second site, after reading a little bit, my stomach started to get sour. So it's, showing you to practice your own discernment, what your body's telling you, your own knowing. So as we get back to the read, the underlying signs that came up were Pisces, both directions, Gemini upright, Libra reversed, and the rest I'm not sure which directions they were in, but they were definitely present in the underlying energy. Sagittarius, Taurus, Capricorn, Cancer, Virgo, and Aries. And when I wrote down sales here, I was getting sales versus souls, right? So if you have to sell something, if you have to use a pitch, which makes me nuts because I worked as a salesperson pitching when I was just out of college. If you feel like you have to sell something, then you probably shouldn't be selling it. Because if you love something, you just talking about it is going to sell it. It's about resonating with something, not selling it or receiving it in that way. So I didn't like that feeling of someone pitching to get me into their site. But it came up as far as sales versus souls, Is that really an authentic thing to do? So, and it's not to say that people shouldn't sell things. I mean, they sell, if a spiritual person is selling products, I have no problem with them, advertising for their products so people know where they can get them. And I went to school for advertising, okay? I don't have an issue with that part of it. But if someone is a spiritual person and, does something like I'm doing here and has a website like that and needs to sell you to get you in, as opposed to knowing that the people who resonate to you will automatically be drawn to you, that spirit will guide them to the videos or the websites that they need to go to, it just bothered me a little bit that way. So be glad to hear your comments on that as well. As I turned the page, it was 1124. So it's Justice and the Queen of Wands, which always brings up karma and ego. So Metatron took me on a journey to feel the conscious difference between what to me feels light and dark. Sales techniques to draw you in. 3 gold coins lost to a moon. False light. End of world stories, but now paying debts, working on emotions. Shadow work to clear distortions. Working on closure and clearing 5D distortions as well. Of the Knight of Cups, those who offer love must be clear of intention, in knowing without knowing why it's so important for you to follow your own guidance system instead of trying to figure out who to believe. Just because it is out there doesn't mean it's true for you. Maybe for someone else it may be true, so don't judge, but just depend. Final word is on you. You are a sealed divine feminine. Don't allow bulls and lions to intimidate you. Know Metatron is your humble servant, he's guiding me to say, and the white horse who gently bows to his divine feminine, because he represents the masculines. and giving you a leg up, a free ride. Just stay in your knowing, in your love for all. And then soulmate came up as the underlying energy. Beneath that was calling in your soulmate. So it's calling in your soulmate, and then yes, this is your soulmate. So then as I was just thinking, randomly as I'm in between cards, thinking of Thoth's defense for video. What I'm going to say in his defense, because I didn't like what they were saying about him in that website. And as I started thinking that, he starts singing to me, and you light up my life, you give me hope to carry on. Okay, so he's a pretty funny guy. Okay, so that just came in as a little break of humor. And then the Hunchback of Notre Dame came up again. A feminine bull, because he was very soft at heart, a prisoner of his world. He could not escape, so he went within instead and kept quiet, castrated by the evil magi who pretended to offer him love. And now he is the dog in the doghouse. As everyone now offers me love, says Quasimodo. Now everyone offers me love, the plight of the eunuch wound. The eunuch wound, unable to grow, reproduce. In other words, not human, because cells perpetually reproduce in a human. So unable to even pee on a plant if castrated. Then they were just joking that now he's like a girl who must use the toilet. Not much of a devil there. So spiritual career comes up here, which is 78, which is that ultimate family. It's the last card in the deck. And beneath that was adventure, 55, of the truth, of triumph. So in your adventure, then comes your spiritual career, your emotional and family and manifestation fulfillment. Foosball was coming up here. Say you're playing foosball. If you got caught up in chains within the foosball, how messed up would that be, right? You can't turn the guys there. The ball and chain of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, which means Our Lady. And so for the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Quasimodo, he had, the church was his lady. He had to share with all. And then as I turned the page, it was 11:59, which is justice in the 11th hour, 59. So his 11th hour of having to share his lady with all. You can't play the game if you're caught up in the chains. The gear is not shifting. Freeing your heart, and spirits connecting, and freeing your heart to ever-present upliftment. Leaving stress and sorrows behind, escaping the box of purge cycles, to enlightenment, to lighten the load. Disconnect Two of Cups. So when the Two of Cups is reversed and it's disconnected Two of Cups need to release more emotion until the sky falls in. Yes, allow it if needed. Crying always resets, because that's that quantum leap from going to need to cry to then, why do I no longer need to cry? Because I'm done. Instability, disunion, moving homes, it's all the same. Leaving Our Lady behind when she's actually within, right in your own backyard, like Dorothy. Being disconnected, unstable, moving is all running from self. Can't focus on work until you reconnect or stabilize again. Remember that home is the dragonfly mating, the heart pumping. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Pa-ra-pa-pa-pum-pum-pum. Okay, so it's bringing in the little drummer boy, which is the gift of your heart. To show your vulnerability is brave, not cowardice. A hug, energetic connection helps you to reconnect and dry your tears. Even when disconnected, the connection is always there in spirits connecting. No fear, like traveling far and wide and coming home again to multiply. Two bunnies who have missed each other. 2 and 2 are 4, 4 and 4 are 8, 8 and 8 are 16, 16 and 16 are 32. So here again, inchworm was coming up, and you have 2, make a 4 of the home, the union, which make then the 8 of the balance dance between you, which then makes the tower comes in, which can be epiphanies, or it can be an event that now you need to transmute and return to balance. 32, the journey. Inchworm, 1 inch, 1 stone, 1 step at a time. Patience is to stay in the present moment and not get ahead of yourself. When it's time to be there, you will be present to it. And that was at 12:12. Wishing won't work because that puts you in lack. Be in your knowing, present to just that. Patient angels, your soulmate arrives. Spiritual career, number 78, your dream family. So that's the 10 of Pentacles. So as we get more into the read, number 27 shows up, and 27 is the Ace of Wands. That new passion, new creativity, new growth. But recently here is the 7 of Flames, okay? Definitely rising up to dance, or rise above the drama. Rising above the drama to dance. Above dysfunctional family to lover, who's been crying or left behind, or dysfunctional family gives affection to guilt you into staying small, or losing a lot of money due to affection that does not serve. Rising above to tango in knowing, and with angel guidance to love and spiritual career. And when the 27 came up next to the cards, I was also getting the 1.5 out of 7, which is 4.6666 forever, the 4.67. And divided the other way is 214. And 46 is the children in the garden, and then 214 of Valentine's Day was coming up. So thought that was kind of cute. So, rising above to tango in your knowing and with your angel guidance to love and to your mission, your spiritual career, which mostly is just about staying connected to your higher self. If you do that, you're good, because you'll always be getting your guidance to what to do next, whether, if anything at all. So it was 1221 here, and the foundation here is the 10 of orbs, or the 10 of swords, okay? So it's about ending this energy, ending of the pain, ending the fear. And as we turn the page, it's 1223, the King of Wands, wisdom, and the King of Wands, Metatron. He was giving himself a plug there. All right, so the message of love is never wrong, even when unrequited. That's ego that makes you feel your pride's been hurt, that you're embarrassed and small. And before I go on, the signs that came up in the body of the read were all of them, except really Gemini was really just the underlying energy. It really didn't come out in the read. And Capricorn was there in the body of the read. It was definitely there in the underlying, and so was Gemini. But in the body of the read, Capricorn was more minor, but positive. It was upright. And Gemini really wasn't there at all. Aquarius was upright, Scorpio upright and reversed, Taurus reversed, Pisces reversed, Sagittarius upright and reversed, Aries probably reversed, Libra reversed, Cancer reversed, Virgo upright, Leo reversed. And again, Capricorn was upright, but it was more minor. So, about messages of love that are never wrong, even when unrequited, it's your ego that makes you feel that your pride's been hurt, that you're embarrassed and you feel small. Be pure of intention and let go in order to anchor your higher self. Okay, when you let go, you allow yourself to fly higher, following your synchronicities, knowing which are dark energies trying to throw you off track. And it's not about fear, because you can give love to the dark energies just as much to the light. When you are in your high energy, they don't affect you. Okay, it's just about knowing it's all love and not being in fear about anything. Like the Queen of Wands pretending not to not know and looking the other way. This is pride. Centrally, it's all about passing on downloads. Okay, so this is the center energy. So in the traditional deck, that's liar, cheater, thief card, the 7 of swords. But here it's more about passing on your downloads, you see. It's a little bit lighter there, for sure. So it's all about passing on those downloads. But with all the clarifying cards around it, the downloads coming in were easy, but the ones to be passed on, you only had like a tube down there to get them in. It's easy to receive, but not always easy to get those downloads to others. Sometimes it's a free-for-all, and other times there's only space of a trash chute, but keep passing anyway. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare your numbers. You each have a different purpose. Trust and have faith. Be patient. This is the surrender. The Queen of Swords speaks to spirituality, just allowing each other their own perspective. Allowing each their own perspective. Supporting each other in that. Even if our perspectives are not the same, does not mean we will not resonate with them in another way. Lift those falling back. Bring them back to co-creation. Just keep going. It's all about perseverance. Those who succeed are those who persevere at what they love. Just not giving up. And if you get bored of that, then change to something else that you love. Just trust where it's taking you. Sagittarius female, drinker or potion maker, comes up here trying to block your downloads from getting to the King of Cups. But she gets caught with her pants down perhaps, confesses and or carries the burden. The challenge being the hermit reflection. The light hidden by their grief. This is now coming up as the masculine as opposed to the feminine, which it usually does. That he is sovereign King of Cups, star, or knows he stands beside sovereign star as the feminine. Slow motion destiny to apologize for causing her burden, struggles. This is showing both ways for the masculine and feminine. It's like the Sagittarius energy of the karmic needing to apologize, wanting to apologize to the masculine for blocking something, whatever she was doing to block information from coming to him. She feels now the guilt to apologize to him, or whether she feels guilty or not, I don't know, but may have gotten caught also, right? Whether she wanted to apologize or not. And then the masculine feels that same towards the divine feminine. So whatever was held back and not disclosed. So the Sagittarius feminine to the King of Cups, and the King of Cups to the sovereign feminine, divine feminine. The Sagittarius may confess that she caused them to walk away, getting the King of Cups to believe the divine feminine was the evil empress, keeping his arms tied when it was actually all her all along, to prevent the sovereign from riding in passionately. Also, she could have possibly then, taken her essence or played the role of the divine feminine as to not lose the divine masculine. And now sovereign, even though with all of her efforts, the sovereign is still happy going within and bringing information to light for others. So seeing the divine feminine out there, not being taken down, not being crushed, and like she rose above whatever was done to her. So we turn the page, it was 1243. 12 is the wisdom of the hangman, and 43 is the Three of Cups, of joy. The hermit divine masculine is burdened by the divine feminine's sadness and wants her forgiveness. Because whether or not, they see you out there when you're in your high energy and doing great, there's always those moments in the evening sometimes where it's not so easy and you are sad. And that's normal in this journey, okay? So the masculine feels all of this, of course, and so he's become burdened by the divine feminine's sadness and then wants her forgiveness. Now crowning is the King of Cups. So this is the challenge, was the hermit, the reflection card. Okay? So now crowning is the King of Cups. Okay. Master of Chalices. Again, here we are with the King of Pentacles, good man persona, because the King of Cups was clarified by the King of Pentacles, so they're one and the same. The master of his career, because he loves it, or he's put a lot of love into it for many years. Letting go now of the Queen of Cups reversed and the King of Swords reversed that are not working together, the emotional manipulator victim mentality, and the harsh man who's not being true to himself. The worst is over. Secrets are out. He hadn't used his intuition and now realizes that. Now healing and forgiving himself and his sovereign fantasy for not wanting to be alone, for her losing money, independence, and or power, or him, forgiving the secret energy between them, the fantasy life of his twin, and supporting that energy or supplying that energy to his partner or others in his life, the harsh truth out to kids of their father's rescue efforts, as well as their sins. How flirtation is not so innocent, and it is used as a tool to hurt other people, their hearts and their spirits, causing them to go within, these people who have been hurt, and yet rise again. So soon here, for all you watching, is that Five of Chalices. Okay, it doesn't have to be in its upright energy. Soon is the sadness, the loss, and the grief, preventing the passing of the baton, the dumping of love, being overwhelmed, crying your eyes out, to become inspired once more, the reset. Doing it as many times as needed. There are no limits here to the purge. If it's needed, let it out, and then come back to 0 point, the present. The Pope says confession will heal your spirit. I agree this is true, but to your own guidance system, higher self, not to anyone outside of you. Sure, talk to loved ones if you want to. Get support, hugs and kisses, but make sure that yours is always the final word. They do not carry your codes, your secret, your mission. Only you know this truth. They may know a lot about you, but they can't possibly see the whole picture. Not even the best psychics, who are still dealing in multiple timelines. Go to confession to purge if needed, to tell your truth, but also be your messenger of truth to all. Allow that to be your truth. Only you can forgive your sins, your shame, and your guilt. No pope can absolve you of that. He may be a great pope. And as I turned the page, it was 104, which is literally 10-4. So again, message received. He may be a great pope, but remember he is human and that this is his job. He may be a very sweet, gentle man with great advice, but he is not your higher self. Don't be embarrassed to confess. Liberate yourself. Your truth is your freedom. You're all seeing yourselves as the Page of Pentacles. Okay, discovering your abilities there. Seeker of crystals. Discovering your abilities, giving up the wounded warrior template for the tomb of the unknown soldier, meditating. And this is where King Tut came up. So some information I'll tell you about, I wrote down about the discovery of King Tut's tomb. He was only 18 years old. He was only a boy. So the tomb was discovered November 4th, 1922. And that adds up to 29, by the way, is about ever-present. Talk about ever-present. All right, King Tut in his tomb. And this was from thoughtco.com. All right, King Tut in his tomb. So it was very interesting because, so the man who wanted to do this, where is his name? So Howard Carter, in 1907, went to work for Lord Carnarvon. Forgive me if I don't know how to say it properly. All right, so he's the 5th Earl of Carnarvon. It's hard to say the 2 R's. So he went to work for the Lord, and the Lord's name was George Edward Stanhope Molyneux, and then Herbert, which I thought was funny, just for inside reasons. And then, so he went to work for him, and the Lord's daughter's name was Lady Evelyn Herbert. So, and Stanhope is very close to Stainthorpe, which is my name. So it's just funny that something very similar to my last name, and then Evelyn came up right after that, and Lady came up right after Our Lady from the Notre Dame came up, which Lady doesn't usually come up, so here it came up again. So they arrived in Luxor. He went with his daughter and Howard Carter, 11/23 They had cleared 16 steps to the sealed doorway. And then they finally cleared it away. They were able to see that Tut's name was actually on the seals of the door. So they knew that they were in the right place. But there was proof of 2 break-ins. 11:25, the seals were photographed, and then 11:26, 26 feet of passage to another door came up, same door as the first. They saw the tomb through the hole in the door where somebody had tried to break in before. They just peeked in this day, saw strange animals, statues, and gold everywhere. And in November 27th, they entered. There was another door inside the room, which they then later called the annex, which was in total disarray. It was like the authorities were able to rearrange the first room after a break-in, but the second room was still in disarray. Very much disorganized and so much stuff there. They knew it was going to take them a long time to get through all of this. So they used one area for the lab, another tomb, and then number 55 they used for a dark room. February 17th, 1923, they started dismantling the door between the 2 statues. So remember this, now the door that they're coming into is now going to be the room of the tomb, and it's framed by 2 statues, right, the door. So the large shrine was greater than 16 feet long, 10 feet wide, 9 feet tall. Gilded wood inlaid and brilliant blue porcelain. There were 4 shrines all in one, you know, like the ones that all fit inside of each other. Well, there was 4 shrines, so just getting into the one wasn't it. They had to go through 3 more. Their sarcophagus was yellow, single block of quartzite. It was a single block of quartzite that he was in. And this was like over 3,300 years old, okay? Gilded wood coffin was a human shape. It was 7 foot 4 inches. 1.5 years later, they finally opened the coffin. There was another coffin inside that one, and then a third, and the third one was all gold. A liquid had been poured on the coffin that actually stuck coffins 2 and 3 together. Also had done some damage to the body. There was about 150 mostly gold items on him, and there was so much gold found in the tomb. He was 5 feet 5 1/8 inches and died at age 18, and there was evidence of murder. In the storage room within there were 2 small coffins found with premature fetuses. They were thought to be miscarriages of him because he never had children. None were documented. So April 5th, 1923, 1 week after a mosquito bite on their cheek, mosquito bite, I said bike, so bike is coming up here for someone. After a mosquito bite on his cheek, and then he ended up cutting himself by accident there. He died from the infection of that. The Lord died, and then, so 1 week, I mean, it was right after, the same year there, and then that brought the curse of the tomb, that kind of stuff up. And then Howard passed March 2nd, 39, at home in Kensington, London. So, think about this as an 18-year-old who's already been king and in a tomb, and he's just a little boy, right? He's 18 years old. So, you wonder, and he's trying to come through. He's connecting with me when I wrote this stuff down about him as well. 134 is the 8 of Wands, so it's about expressing your feelings, so him wanting to express his feelings. You can imagine he must have a lot of feelings. He wasn't a 30 or 40-year-old king. He was an 18-year-old. Being able to express what he wanted to express. It must have been so difficult to be in that position. Also, heated debates and discussions, and men challenging him as a boy must have been a very difficult place to be in. So getting to know each other came up for this read, as well as religious factors, and they don't have to be religious, it can be anything, whether it's age, culture, anything. And then true love. Yes, this is a romance of a lifetime, and give your relationship a chance. So, again, this was how you were seeing yourselves, so everyone viewing this, and then what's around us or how we are seen is karma, or the judgment card, or opening our lotus. So around us or how we are seen is karma, judgment. King Tut, flanked by 2 statues around fallen sun and moon. All their hopes and wishes died with their child. The King of Swords, after many moons and many suns, passed. The King of Swords, after many moons and many suns passed, becomes the King of Wands, man of passion, a student of the gold coin. Knocked down off his high horse by karma, judgment, warriors and rulers of 2,000 years focused on the wrong gold coin, and now karma, the fall of the patriarchy, is here. Clear blocks of the Knight of Pentacles proposal. Okay, this is what you need to clear. The Adept of Crystals is the Knight of Pentacles, but here he's proposing something, an offering. So you need to clear blocks of assumed anything around this to go on clear blocks of this Knight of Pentacles proposal to go on a quest for epiphanies perhaps, or sudden events, or drama, or explosions, to discover together blocks of commitment, religion, and third-party interferences. Instead of feeding into any of that, just stay present and take one step at a time. Don't assume anything is going to happen in any certain way. Allow it to happen naturally. So love comes up in nature and synchronicities, as I said in the beginning, but even more so here is happy ending and financial discipline. With the Knight of Pentacles offer of something healthy, once he's able to express his feelings, and so this is paralleling with the Divine Masculine to King Tut, once he's able to express his feelings, his love, then the feminine can let him in. So the last 2 cards here is of the Hierophant, or guidance in this deck, and then the 7 of Cups, all right, which is like the stairway to heaven. It's also synchronicities for me, and also heaven in their eyes. Okay, so this is the final energy here. With that Knight of Pentacles offer of something healthy, once he's able to express his feelings, his love, the Hierophant, guidance, marriage, commitment, contracts, etc., or just the Taurus energy, since we're in Taurus now, on the last 2 steps, now, that card came up yesterday in the exact same position where 3 steps were showing, and today 2 are showing, and we are getting close. And then Glenn Close came up for some reason. And when I opened it, I wasn't getting anything specific about Glenn Close, but it did lead me to Carol Channing, because she passed in January, and she's the one from Hello Dolly. And I had a feeling she may want to come through. So if she does, I wouldn't be surprised. She was born in January 31st, 21, and she died January 15th this year. January 15th, Martin Luther King, it's also my sister's birthday. So, prisoner of looking back without option, guidance from the Sphinx to stop looking back. The Divine Masculine may be dreaming of rescuing Divine Feminine, yet trying to reconcile the pain and sadness and going within at night, while the Divine Feminine speaks her truth, shedding light, guidance, commitments, and Taurus energies that we're all in now. The last steps to get past the hurt to each other, the past returning to reconcile to the present, the gift, the truth of third party, the Divine Masculine Hermit sheds light on the truth now, as opposed to the feminine. The true story, not speculation or hearsay or gossip, which actually paralleled to the King Tut story, because there's something that was pretty current, like a TV series or something like that, that was supposed to be about Evelyn, the Lord's daughter, how she had a romantic connection to the other guy, Carter, which the family, of course, insists it wasn't true. It wasn't even his personality to do that, because she was she was already being seen with her husband, Beauchamp, and they had been courting prior to 1923, so that would have been definitely gossip. So here the masculine's coming through, saying now it's time for the Divine Masculine Hermit to come through and shed light on the truth. The true story, not speculation or hearsay or gossip. The truth. hanging out to reconcile huge emotions between twin angels of pain and betrayal, learning abilities, and being student again of karma and judgment, rising above any drama to risk and past downloads of getting over grief and proposing the King of Cups, unconditional love, and guidance and/or commitment, Stairway to Heaven, and the Hermit. As we turn the page once again, it's 217. 17 is of the Star and 2 of the High Priestess. So now we come into some feminine energy, because this was definitely him seeing her as the Star in this read, the High Priestess. Hang 4 more minutes, clearing the fires and drama and things no longer working in your life, to end the pain by taking risk of love and psychic abilities and getting over sadness, grief, regret, shame, guilt, to pass the baton and make a decision, final judgment, to propose, make offer of help, guidance and/or commitment or marriage, and take the final steps to get there, patiently. And then I was getting softly, slowly, hold me closer, tiny dancer. So that comes up again. And then love is worth the risk, even when it's a tight squeeze. Reflection is now the challenge. Use your love and abilities to come out and walk like an Egyptian. King Tut. he was connecting with me there to be funny. Come out and walk like an Egyptian. King Tut. Stairway to Heaven. Okay? And you see, because his tomb was paved in gold coins, he only wished he had all of those years to have lived. He was only 18 when he died. And there was evidence of murder, so, and he's connecting with me. Okay, so that's the read. I'm going to show you the pictures, and then I'm going to go to the oracle cards. We'll see who comes through. This is the basic read. And then the full read here. Okay. I took a lot of really pretty flower pictures. I got some flowers from Home Depot yesterday. Oh, and I forgot, yeah, check out these flowers. They're so pretty. Look at the color from that. Let's see if I can get a better, clearer shot. I wanted to tell you guys too, because when I went to Home Depot finally, not yesterday, was it yesterday? No, the day before yesterday. As soon as I got there, and I had to return some boxes of some tiles that weren't used by the contractors, and so they were kind of heavy for me, and I had to get them on the thing to take them into the store, and there were guys jumping in to try to help me. I had 2 guys just in the parking lot, like one really wanted to help me, but I only had 1 or 2 boxes left, so I said no thank you, but thank you, And then as soon as he went away, before I get in the front door, another guy is like jumping in to help me roll the thing into the store. So there's definitely some positive energy about the masculines coming in. Okay. So I'm going to get to the oracles now. So make sure you drink your water and all that jazz. And get your rest. Just be good to yourself. Have fun. Go get your hands in the dirt. That's definitely very grounding and helps you out. And take a walk in the beautiful sun. Get some sun on your skin. Just enjoy this time. It's spring. We only get this once a year. Be present. Rise and be loved, guys.